Well, hello again, and welcome to the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel. So glad to have you here. Do me one small favor. Please hit that thumb. That is the like button that lets YouTube know that you are definitely enjoying the content that you are viewing. Also, if you've been watching videos on the channel for a while, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment. I will definitely do my best to respond. Let's get into it. Let's look at this title, folks. Woke BLM, of course, which stands for Black Lives Matter. Yes, they are still around, unfortunately. Activists melt down over judge dismissing manslaughter charge against Daniel Penny. Let's get into it, folks. Um, so here we go. Daniel Penny, a defense calls forensic pathologist to witness stand. The chokehold did not cause the death. So Dr. Satish Chandra says evidence does not support claim that Penny's chokehold killed Jordan Neely. And now we're in ultra liberal New York, folks. So yeah. The Marine veteran on trial for the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely called an expert forensic pathologist to the witness stand Thursday, and he came to a dramatically different conclusion than the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. Now, we're talking about New York City, folks. So we know they definitely have a narrative that they're always trying to um, fill. So the chokehold did not cause the death, Dr. Satish Chandra testified. Daniel Penny, 26, faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted on the top charge he faces, which of course they were deadlocked on that charge, thank goodness, for the death of 30-year-old Neely. And again, they are not talking about what was going on and what precipitated the chokehold. He was on his way to the gym after class at a New York college in May 2023 when Neely, a homeless man with schizophrenia and a drug habit, barged onto a subway car and shouted death threats. Chandra, a former Miami area medical examiner who now runs a private practice in Texas conducting autopsies in a half a dozen counties, said that he did not believe an air choke caused Neely's unconsciousness and therefore did not cause his death. Chandra said he found the cause of death to be the combined effects of sickle cell crisis, the schizophrenia, the struggle and restraint, and the synthetic marijuana. Someone schizophrenic, high on K2, and involved in a struggle can die without a chokehold being involved at all, he said. Similarly, he said, if there were no health issues and the chokehold was the only factor, Neely would not have died. And so, folks, we know where this is going. In a cross-examination, Assistant Manhattan District Attorney Daphne Yoren grilled him on some of his past cases, asking about an incident that he ruled an asphyxiation, and a defense expert disputed his findings, pointing out there was cocaine in the victim's system. It happened in 2012, and he said he didn't remember it well. So we know, again, if you're in New York and you're trying to defend yourself, good luck with that. They are always on the side of the criminals. So she got Dr. Chandra to concede that video shows Penny's arm in a blood choke position and that brushing on Neely's body matched. However, he said you can have a chokehold applied, leave with that kind of injury, and survive. He compared Neely's death to another one Dr. Chandra worked on, and he said the two weren't comparable. With the video, it gives us the evidence that a chokehold occurred but did not cause the death of Neely, he testified. The judge dismissed jurors for the day shortly before 5 p.m. All right, so this is what they're doing, and this is what's going on, and this is the guy, and I think this guy used to be a Michael Jackson impersonator. And you know, now his family's out. Oh, it's so horrible. You knew that the guy was on drugs, and we hate he died, and you knew he was schizophrenic. Why wasn't he receiving help? So that you know where we're going with this. I have some video clips to share with you. So I'll stop streaming that now, and tell me what your thoughts are, what your concerns are. We know the liberal media. Oh my God. they just, oh my God, let me get this started. So I have several little clips to share with you. So let's get started with the first one.
All right, a judge has gone ahead and dismissed a manslaughter charge in the Daniel Perry trial after the jury was hopelessly deadlocked on the issue, going back on forth on it for the better part of the afternoon. Ultimately, the judge dropping it. But of course, it's not over. There is one remaining, and that is criminally negligent behavior on the part of Penny during that whole incident. That, of course, is in the eye of the beholder, and 12 jurors who clearly couldn't agree on the more serious manslaughter charge. Anyone's guess how they will rule when they come back on this lesser charge.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this.
Typical page out of the Democrat liberal playbook. It's racism, it's white supremacy. Why are you not addressing the fact that this man was threatening people? And really, Daniel Penny is a hero. He was trying to protect not only himself, but other passengers. I just dropped a truth bomb. I'll continue.
Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart.
I guess I have racism and bias in my heart, according to this gentleman.
If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory.
What does this have to do with white supremacy? This is ridiculous.
Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America.
Okay, so again, this is typical liberal propaganda. I think we know that right by now, right? Typical.
Shall continue to place second-class status on Black people.
All right, that's enough of him. So why make this about race? And of course, Alvin Bragg did enough of that on his own. I have a video, a Fox video to share with you. And it's so sad that they're playing political football with this tragedy. And, you know, if you're in New York, what are you supposed to do to protect yourself? Someone type it in the comment section, because now people are probably afraid. They're probably afraid, if I protect myself, will I wind up in the same situation as Mr. Penny? And that's just how it is in New York. And I know people are leaving California in droves, and as bad as New York is at this time, they may be next, because it's ridiculous. And again, this guy, people get angry when people don't help. But when you have cases like this, people are reluctant. And you can't blame them. This guy has his whole life turned upside down because he was trying to help not only himself, but he was also trying to help other passengers. And let me share this with you. So I just have a few clips here. Let me see what he's saying here.
I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying,
you don't hear the left talking about this, so I will on my channel.
Saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Ely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes.
And so again, they're also not being truthful with the amount of time that transpired.
Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's
And for those that don't know, this guy's a former Marine. So if he wanted to kill the guy, that would have, that would have been easy. But he was just trying to restrain the guy until the police arrived.
A clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers. It's a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. What I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hold to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You can see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
So again, folks, tell me what your thoughts and your concerns are in reference to this situation. Now, had he not, who knows what this guy, someone's on drugs, someone has schizophrenia, who knows what this guy could have done? Now, those of you who've taken psychology, I have a term to share with you. It's called the Genovese syndrome, known as the bystander effect. Now, people get angry when something horrible happens. People were there and they didn't try to do anything. Well, again, this guy actually did. And what did he get for his trouble? He's on trial fighting for his life. Now, those that don't know, the Genovese syndrome, if you don't know what that is, look that up. I learned about it in college and I never forgot. It's called the bystander effect. And in a nutshell, it was a young lady, happened, I think, 1964. She was stabbed to death multiple times. And people kept saying, oh, yeah, I heard that. People heard this lady screaming. I think the guy who unalived her left, came back. And, people just, it was New York. So people were like, oh, well, it was if people didn't care. And it's called the Genovese syndrome. Look that up, folks. The bystander effect, where you see horrible things happening and you're like, okay, whatever, not my problem. So many people think that Mr. Penny's a hero. We know Black Lives Matter is ready to get cranked up again. I do not think that Mr. Penny is responsible for the death. Again, you heard about the extenuating health circumstances of Mr. Neely. And he was just trying to help protect himself and other passengers, many of whom were people of color. But now I guess he's going to be the biggest race on the planet after Trump, I guess. You know where they're going with this. It's ridiculous, folks. But, this is how they operate. Let's listen to this clip as well, folks. Okay. All right. Let me make sure. Yeah, you can see everything and we'll get it going. Here we go.
I'm going to give you an example of something that I did with a recent case of mine. And this has never been done in my office. I had a murder case where the defendant did not intentionally kill the victim. he went into an ATM on the Upper West Side and tried to rob an individual. Unfortunately, it was an older individual. He was 86. And in the course of the robbery, he fell to the ground. And as a result, he died. This is, under the law, a felony murder, which is akin to intentional murder. However, when I first got the case, I learned, I took the time to learn about the defendant. And it was a strong case, so it wasn't about a whodunit. I knew immediately who did it. I could prove it. I could take it to trial that day and win it. But it wasn't about that. It was that the more I learned about the defendant and his life and the circumstances, the kinds of things that Jarrell was talking about, that one should take into account the trauma of that individual, I really felt incredibly sorry for him that he had gotten to that point in his life where he felt like there was no other choice but to commit this robbery.
You listen. Are you listening to what this guy? You listen to what was being said, right? So again, with the liberal mindset, they're always protecting the criminals. That's unacceptable. And what a shame that Mr. Penny has to be on trial for self-defense, basically. Hopefully he will not be found guilty on any charges, but we know that that judge is biased, and I think he's trying to push, my opinion is he is trying to definitely push the case in a certain direction. So you can tell me what your thoughts are if you've been keeping up with this case. If he's found guilty on any of these charges, self-defense essentially does not exist. We've already said that. If you go to New York, good luck with that. They appear to be trying to rig this trial against Mr. Penny, in my opinion. All of the manslaughter charge was dismissed, but it appears as if the judge is trying to get them to find Mr. Penny guilty on something. And we know George Soros backs Alvin Bragg, and we know how corrupt the legal system is in New York. You have Alvin Bragg, and of course Big Tish is up there too, Letitia James. Notice how the woke prosecutors, we feel so bad for the criminals, and they had a rough life. And what about the victim? So again, this Mr. Penny wasn't committing any crimes. He was trying to defend himself. So this should come as no surprise. We are talking about New York. And so, people were shocked that the jury was deadlocked on whether to find Mr. Penny guilty on the manslaughter charge. And this opens up. Now, think about this, folks. This is going to open up. So he's innocent on the manslaughter, but are they trying to find him guilty of a lesser charge? This opens up the door for that. So keep your eyes on that. Many people are questioning if the judge is trying to rig this trial against Daniel Penny, find him guilty on something, since they could not agree on the first more serious charge. What are your thoughts on that? Tell me. Basically, the judges stopped thinking about, okay, you couldn't come to a consensus on the first charge. What about this charge? So we have to keep up with that, folks. I mean, the New York criminal justice system, talk about corruption. We don't want a mistrial. They want to find him guilty on something. So this is a little bit sketchy. The judge is trying to push the jury in a certain direction. That's kind of understandable what they're trying to do. We know it's New York. Look at what happened to Trump. I mean, so I think the judge is trying to get them to find him guilty on something. And so let me see. So I have another clip or two to share with you. Okay, let me see. Where are we? Okay. All right, here we go. Stay with me here. And so tell me what you think about this. They're so desperate to get a conviction of an innocent man. It's so sad that that's where we are. Okay, I think I found where we are here. Okay. I can share the screen. Okay, we're still there. Okay. And so let me play this, and you can tell me what you think. We're almost done. Let me finish this.
Telling me that when the prosecutor read that note, she looked down and she grinned. It was not a grin of happiness. It was a grin of, I cannot believe I'm reading this. I just can't believe it. Well, what she couldn't believe is that the jury is deadlocked on count one. That is the more serious charge, manslaughter, which faces where Daniel Penny would face a term of up to 15 years in prison. As a result of them not being able to reach a unanimous verdict on the first charge, they are not allowed to move on to the second charge. So at this point, they are deadlocked.
Yeah. So what do you think, folks? Again, we see what they're trying to do. Yeah. So Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, the clown show is there. I'm sending the clowns. Let me see. I have another clip. Where are we? Okay, let me find this other clip for you. 9:24 is where we are. I'm looking for a clip to share with you. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me share my screen and tell me what you think. Okay. Here we go.
We're following breaking news in New York. The judge in the subway chokehold case has dismissed the second-degree manslaughter charge against Daniel Penny. The jury was allowed to leave for the day after saying twice it was deadlocked over that count. So jurors will return Monday to deliberate on the criminally negligent homicide charge against Penny. The prosecutors say Jordan Neely died after Penny put him in a chokehold on the train in 2023. He claims he was protecting himself and other subway riders and pleaded not guilty to all charges. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson is back with us now to discuss this update. Jessica, what is the reasoning behind the judge's decision?
Well, this is what the prosecution asked for. They said it's clear that the jury, after asking them to do this twice, cannot come to a decision. And so the prosecution is saying we want to proceed with that lesser included charge, the criminally negligent homicide charge. For people watching at home wondering what's the difference is essentially manslaughter requires a higher level of knowledge, a higher type of state of mind, whereas negligence requires something less, requires something closer to there was an accident, but you can still find somebody criminally culpable. So in this case, what it means is that the prosecution has said, we don't want a full mistrial, which is what the defense wants. We want to proceed and ask the jury, what about criminal negligence, that lower included charge?
Can Penny ever be retried on the manslaughter charge?
I think at this point that depends on exactly what the prosecution said to the judge when they said we want to dismiss this case. I think there's a difference between can they, which
so you see where this is going, right, folks? Yeah. Okay, we're almost done with this clip.
I believe the answer, if they decided to dismiss it, it depends on how they dismissed it, but probably not versus will they. And I think the answer to that is they likely would not, again, based on their willingness to move forward with the criminal negligence. I want to be clear that I think the promise here by the prosecution of we're willing to drop the manslaughter if, judge, you say we can proceed to the criminal negligence case indicates that they're not going to refile on man.
And they're doing all of this for someone who served their country. Why don't they do something with all of the illegals that have committed essays and unalivings? They're still walking around, running around New York. This guy's on trial for his life. Make it make sense, people. We know how New York operates. They've weaponized their legal system. And it's in your face. It's overt. They're not hiding it. Ask Big Tish and Alvin Bragg. If you do not subscribe to their political ideology, ask Trump how that worked out. Any companies that won't get on board with their woke agenda, okay, you know what's next. So they're tough on everyone except criminals. So I have another clip to share with you. Let me see, 1248. So That's my thing. You're doing this to an American, someone who served their country. All these illegals are running around here, have committed all kinds of god-awful crimes. Nothing happens to them. And this guy is on trial for his life. Make it make sense, people. I don't get it. All right, let me play this clip.
The jury deliberate if they continue to be deadlocked on this lesser charge.
However long the judge feels, it's totally in his discretion. The defense will object, but legally the judge can give them sufficient time, maybe read them another Allen charge where they say, we are counting on you. We spent a lot of money and time, please. But they've done that already. I don't think that this judge is respecting the jurors' beliefs, and I also think it reeks of desperation from the prosecution.
If Penny is found guilty on this lesser charge, what kind of sentencing might he face?
Well, the maximum technically is 4 years, but I think the max in any criminal case should be reserved for the worst of the worst. It should be reserved for people who have reoffended. I don't think that he deserves that kind of time. This charge that they're deliberating on would be for somebody who's driving recklessly, they're staring at their phone, they're speeding, it's a willful and wanton disregard of human life, and they wind up killing someone. That's not plausibly analogous to what this guy did in these circumstances.
What conversations do you think Penny's lawyers are having right now?
Well, they're thrilled that the first charge is gone, but they're going, man, I can't believe the judge is sending him back. It almost reeks of coercion. The judge is saying, go back, look at the lesser charge. But we did. So what does this mean? I think it's scaring. I've been there. Jake, I've been there where they take 4 days. They're going to take another day. It is agonizing.
It sounds to me like you're suggesting that the judge is basically telling the jury, not in so many words, but suggesting you really should convict him on this lesser charge.
I wouldn't go that far because the judge is doing his job, and I'm not even saying that he's done anything illegal. What I'm saying is that it reeks, the image of what it looks like is, well, wait, you've already deliberated on that lesser charge. The prosecutors dismissed the main charge. So I'm going to send you back there, and I'm going to have you consider that lesser charge again. I'm just saying that there's a fair argument to make from the defense that it almost implies that the judge is suggesting there may be something to this lesser charge. That's all I'm saying.
The judge told the jury to go home and try to think about something else over the weekend, not this case. Is that even possible for a jury?
Absolutely not if you're human and not a robot. Picture a tiger on a unicycle with a Nazi helmet juggling balls. Okay, wait. Forget about that image. Don't think about it. Come on, they're obsessed. They're going to be thinking about it. They'll probably be talking it over with friends and family who've watched the media. They're told not to, but they...
All right. So that's pretty much, okay. What are your thoughts, folks? This is totally... And I think did I have one more clip? Yeah, I think I'll share. I've already shared the young man who was voicing his disdain. Let me share the young lady as well. I'll stop sharing it. So one more clip and then we're done. Okay, so I played a little clip of this man earlier, but I wanted you to hear the young lady as well. So you heard what he had to say, and then she came on. All right, so here we go, and then we're done.
Hey, NEWSOME. I'm the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York. All
right, so... And again, Black Lives Matter, you never hear from them. Chicago, think about all of the liberal cities. Young Black males are killing each other in droves. All they've done is take millions of dollars. We know they're just an extended arm of the Democratic Party, so they are a joke. But I'll let this play.
I stand here heartbroken, because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free. who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people.
Typical liberal Democratic playbook. So if you're that concerned, how about all the millions of dollars that were donated or given to Black Lives Matter? Take some of that money and make some of these communities better. Maybe find some help for some of these people who have drug issues or people who have mental health issues instead of buying mansions for you and the other co-founder. I'll continue.
Yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there doing Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they're denied oxygen. Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not.
So you see, she's totally out of control, and she's trying to get people stirred up and emotional. We know how Black Lives Matter operates. What a joke.
Not change, and I hate to say it, it may never change. And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do class have to?
So they're just trying to get this crap started up again, but Trump will be in office in January, and I'm sure he will squash it.
Break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness.
All right.
You give us nothing, and then you ask us to love this country. America hates black.
If you don't like the country, ma'am, pack up and leave.
People, and we see it from that jury pool.
So again, this woman, she's out of control. And if you're that concerned about black people, take all those millions of dollars that you've collected and go help some of these poor black communities where people have drug issues and people have mental health issues. So this is a joke. And you heard she's talking about Jim Crow. Again, they keep reaching back to the past, trying to get people stirred up and emotional. All right, straight from the Democrat playbook. And of course, they're still angry too that Kamala, the cosplaying chameleon, didn't win. So they have a lot of anger, which is a win for America. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hit the like button, leave a comment. I will respond. Also, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for spending your very valuable time here at the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel, and I will definitely see you soon.